Depression never takes a holiday. In fact, for some people, it gets worse. Joining us to discuss this condition is psychiatrist Krista Roybal with the True Life Center for Wellbeing in La Jolla. Krista, we've all heard about the holiday blues. What are they?
The holiday blues are on the continuum of depression, but they're not full clinical syndrome. They are when somebody feels tired, sad, but it doesn't last a full 2 weeks. And it may be due to all the stress and obligation and expectations that they put on themselves.
How does someone differentiate between feeling a little down and having a more serious condition?
The main two things are severity and duration. So if the depression and that sad feeling is most of the time for up to 2 weeks, it's very likely a clinical depression. And that goes with many other things, such as losing your appetite, not being able to sleep, not being able to concentrate, feeling worthless, sad, and maybe even hopeless and not wanting to live. Holiday blues won't last as long. It may be a day or two, and you may be able to recover, and you won't have that severity.
Who is at risk for depression and anxiety during the holidays?
People with a family history, someone who's had a depression before, people who have trauma, physical, mental, sexual abuse, substance use, folks who drink heavily or use other substances, even students in school with all the stress, people with financial hardship or grief. If you lost a family member or a loved one this year, you're at greater risk for depression.
What is it about the holiday time that increases calls to your office and other psychiatrists, psychologists?
There's a couple of things. I mean, one, all mammals have a change in their mood at this time of year. There are shorter days, there's decreased light, and we're all affected by that. But also during the holidays in particular, we put a lot of expectations on ourselves. There's a lot of stress. Stress affects our nervous system and gives us a higher chance of being depressed. Also, we don't sleep as much. We imbibe more. We drink a lot. We eat sugar and carbohydrates and all the things that make us more susceptible to being depressed.
What are some coping skills that you recommend for people?
Oh, one of the best, I think, is self-care practices. So prevention is always the best medicine. And there are the basics of just making sure to try to get, the best sleep and hydration and exercise, but also maybe taking up a new self-care practice like self-compassion or meditation or just reflection, time with yourself, journaling, things that give you an internal reflection versus an external focus.
What do you mean by that?
So the commercialism of the holidays really puts our focus and energy on gifts and activities and parties. And most people are looking for an internal meaning and an internal satisfaction. And those self-care practices that I mentioned can bring our awareness to those things that are more meaningful to us, such as love, gratitude, acceptance, forgiveness. And really, I would put a challenge out there to people to choose a theme like that, that they want to focus on during the holidays and streamline their activities to be able to have that more rich internal satisfaction.
Is there a right time to call a therapist, to call somebody like you and get into care?
Oh, that's a great question. So we do get a big uptick of calls at this time of year. I would say if you know that you have depression and that it dips, make sure to do a preventative visit with your psychiatrist or therapist. If the severity or the length of the depression is longer than just a day or two, make a call to a therapist or a psychiatrist to get in. Therapy is very effective, medications can be very effective, and just having that support and someone who you feel seen and understood by can make all the difference.
Okay, psychiatrist Krista Roybal, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Kenny.